Hi, my name is Nikolai Henny. I'm a fifth-year PhD student in the RSN lab advised by Volkan Isler at the University of Minnesota. And today I'm going to talk about our work on automated yield estimation for row crops, specifically apples in this case. So when we're talking about a complex problem such as yield estimation for apples, there are many different components involved here, and it helps to break down the system into these components. So first, we look at the system inputs. Our system receives as inputs two video sequences, one from the front side of the tree row and one from the back side. On these two video sequences, we do per frame fruit detection and counting. For per frame fruit detection and counting, we use a state-of-the-art neural network approach based on faster RCNN. We use a ResNet backbone for feature extraction together with a feature pooling network to extract regions of interest. Each of these regions of interest gets a classification score, and we do regress the bounding box coordinates to get tight bounding boxes around the fruit clusters. It is important to note that detecting fruit clusters is much easier than detecting individual fruit, especially if our videos are taken from a specific distance and the fruits appear pretty small in the image. On the left side, you can see some of these detected clusters. For fruit counting, we now propose to add a specific fruit counting head on top of this network that assigns a single count per region of interest. In the next step, we have to track fruits across frames. This is necessary because we do not want to count fruit that appear in multiple images double, and conversely, we want to have multiple views of the cluster to avoid undercounting fruits that are hidden by foliage or other fruits. Additionally, we track fruits by creating 3D reconstructions of the tree row that we merge from the front and the back side. And this allows us to avoid double counting fruit that are visible from the front and the back side of the tree row. Modern apple orchards are rarely containing apple trees that are far spaced out. Instead, these apple trees are grown in almost linear setups with big holes within the foliage for which fruits can be seen from the front and the back. Our fruit tracking algorithm works as follows. In the first step, we segment out fruit pixels from other pixels in the 2D images. At the same time, we use a standard structure from motion algorithm to create a 3D reconstruction of the tree row. Next, we can use the segmented fruit pixels and the camera poses from the structure from motion algorithm to get the segmented point cloud in 3D. When we reproject the clusters onto the 2D images, you can see here in the middle how these clusters grow and shrink over time. This is due to the fact that more fruits become visible as the camera moves along the tree row. As we have a count associated with each of these images of the cluster, we can now use the inclusion-exclusion principle in 3D to account for double-counted fruits that are visible from the front and the back side of the tree row. The created 3D reconstruction is also useful for other tasks. For example, we can use it for tree morphology metric extraction, such as tree height or volume. Here you can see how we use the merged 3D reconstruction of the tree row using data from the front and the back side of the trees to extract different tree morphology metrics. On the top, you can see how we segment individual trees, and on the bottom you can see different metrics for tree volume extraction. This is an overview of our whole system, and at the end of our system, we're getting yield estimate and a mapping of each fruit in 3D. Our overall yield estimation system is extremely accurate. We achieve 95.5 to 97.8% accuracy with respect to harvested ground truth counts. This includes fruits that are invisible from the outside of the trees. Here you can see how our tracking system captures clusters that change size over time and how this improves our overall counting accuracy. One problem of modern neural networks is that they use extreme amounts of data for training purposes. And labeling data is extremely expensive, especially if you have to label small objects such as apples. One idea that we had was, can we use synthetic data to do this labeling for us? This is a simple question, but it's not that easy to answer. If we use data that is looking vastly different from the real world data, such as the synthetic data here on the left, the results will be very poor. Instead, what we propose is a semantic preserving image-to-image translation method that allows us to change geometry and color of apples in pictures without changing the underlying semantics. This is a method that doesn't only work on apples, but we also showed that this can be used for example, transforming horses into zebras by transferring textures across images. Finally, we wanted to give back to the community, and we have created a large benchmark dataset for fruit detection, segmentation, and counting called the Mini Apple dataset. We have published data and all codes available at the following website, and we would be happy if you would stop by and use it for your own work. Thank you for watching.